Good afternoon. I'm speaking to you live just outside.
I like to think balding is just God's way of saying, now let's see you get laid.
Is it true that if you don't use it, you lose it?
What I'd really like to do is put the greatness of this man in perspective.
The hair loss community has a lot to be thankful for, having you as a spokesperson.
You mean you just call this guy up?
About life and about reality.
And now, America's #1 reality radio show for men. Live from Los Angeles, it's Spencer Kobren's The Bald Truth.
Hey guys, welcome to the show, 888-659-3727. Thanks again for hanging out while we set up shop here. We are doing, I'll probably do about an hour tonight because I got some shit to do, and I know that Joe is very happy to agree.
Yep.
Just to do the hour. Let me pop Joe up. If you're new to the program, real quickly, I am the hair loss guy. Joe is another what was he? Hair transplant mentor. I'm like, Jesus. It just totally escaped me. Joe's the original hair. I'll cut that out. Joe's the original hair transplant mentor. I'm the founder of the American Hair Loss Association and the International Alliance of Hair Restoration Surgeons, which incidentally, apparently, there are some people in the hair transplant industry that don't even know what the fuck that is. About 5 people. And I spoke to one today.
Really?
Yes, I did. And it was a fascinating conversation. It was a frustrating conversation. And I have to tell you that I don't want to sound obnoxious, but the reality is I am not a person with tremendous ego when it comes to certain things in my life. Yeah, maybe some things, yeah. Can I get under a bench and, still pound out 225 for reps at my age? I talk about that once in a while. It's not about ego. It's just about, I feel like that's a little bit of accomplishment for an old man.
It's something you just want to share with the group.
That's right. No, but as I'm talking about how we're going to change this field, this guy, I mean, it was like his ego got involved. As I'm talking about how we're... You want to turn that shit down, dude?
Sorry, I don't even know why it was playing. I had my volume off. Strange.
It's okay. I'm just fucking with you. It's like all of a sudden he interjects his ego, and he's all fucked up over this. And I'm just like, look, what do you want me to tell you? This is what we're doing. We're going to make this a safer place for consumers, a better environment for your colleagues. You could either be involved or you don't have to be involved. I don't give a fuck. And then he's like, well, we get complaints because you complain about our organization. This and that. I am not complaining about shit. I'm pointing out the fact that you guys have a lot of people in your organization who are hurting now. There are many more consumers being harmed because of your inaction, and we can change that. That's it.
I think it's a pretty straightforward mathematical equation, I won't even expound on that, but it's a pretty basic logic. There are, there's a lot of people in the ISHRS. There are a lot of people in the ISHRS that are in dire business straits because they're not getting the business that they used to.
Wait a second. Yeah? You are now possibly treading on antitrust issues. You do not want to go there, apparently.
Oh, whatever. Antitrust, anti-schmushed.
Isn't that? No, I mean, but that's actually a very funny topic as well. But anyway.
It is. But the facts are there are a lot of clinics today that are having financial trouble because they don't have the patient base that they used to 5, 6, 7 years ago, but they're still operating as if they do. And so the cost overruns versus the lack of revenue is causing a classic business issue of heading downward, spiral,
right.
Okay? And a lot of these members, most of these members are probably ISHRS members.
Right.
That's a fact. What kind of criticism is that? It's a fact. The various members of leadership throughout the years have been in a position to stem the tide, as they say, by enacting, measures that could have slowed or stopped this several years back. That's a fact. No one else is in the position to do that at the time like they were.
Look, I told this guy today, I said, look, he said, how do you want me to...
Sorry. That is not an attack.
No.
It's a fact. And we've been repeating this. We've been talking about this because we're trying to get it through people's heads that, okay, it didn't happen back then, so let's do something now.
Absolutely. Let's do it now.
Everyone step up. Everyone work together to try to make this field better instead of the cesspool that it's become over the past few years. And it is a cesspool. It's like there's so many more people being harmed today than ever before.
After today's conversation, I am confident that this group, as a group, will never come to the table. Now, it's going to be up to the individuals who are part of this group to come to the table, and many of them are. I did mention that, and it's funny, and I hope that he's listening because he like laughed almost. I said, I have like over 300 people waiting in the till just for the last couple of months who've applied to the organization. And he's like, well, I think his logic was, then why do you only need 100 from us or something like that? I'm like, what are you talking, 100 from you? I don't even know what you're talking about.
Where'd that number come from?
No idea. The whole thing is insane. I'm just like, look, you guys need to support what we're doing publicly. When someone asks about the organization, the American Hair Loss Association, your members should say they're doing good work, not try to diminish our presence in the field because you either can't be or won't be a part of things.
Yeah.
Very simple. Synergistic relationship.
You had to use that word, didn't you?
Non-combative relationship. But this fucking dude was. By the end of the conversation, it was friendly, but I honestly think he just hung up and he was just like, he didn't get it, and maybe he did. And you know what? How I'll know that he gets it if he comes to the table on a personal level and then openly supports truth in advertising, what we're doing, FUE Europe, our meeting in Manchester, everything that we're doing, then it'd be like, okay, this guy really gives a shit about the field. But otherwise, fuck it. He's just like everybody else.
Well, there's a lot of that going around, so.
Anyway, 888-659-3727. And I'm pretty sure that after the conversation, he felt that I wouldn't come on the air live and talk about it. But of course, that's what I do.
It makes for good radio. It's like, why wouldn't you?
Look, we are rallying the troops. I explained this to him. We have so many people who are interested in doing the right thing, young doctors who are like, this makes sense. I should be doing the surgery myself. I should be promoting that fact.
Yeah.
I should be educating my patients so that they have realistic expectations. How fucking hard is that, man?
It's a simple formula. It really is. And I think that the problem is that there are too many egos butting heads.
This was a big. I've been spoken to by a few guys, who were like kind of jerky, but his. I think the way that I've been represented to him over the years, and the way that he received information, is from a very skewed perspective. And
I don't know what the sources are, but I can tell you this. One of the biggest things I've learned in this industry, in this field, is that some of the people that I've heard some of the worst things about have actually turned out to be the nicest people and good people. And this is just a life lesson in general. But I learned several years back, we know this, but I actually learned this is not something you want to do. You don't want to take someone's descriptive about another person at face value. You want to say, okay, great, let it roll off your back and find out for yourself. I'm not, so it's like, I'm surprised it took this long.
Well, listen, we'll see. If this guy on a personal level, if he says, you know what, you're right, I'm going to lead by example. I believe in what you guys are doing and what you're doing, Spencer. So I'm going to openly support it. We're going to leverage our online resources to promote your message, to put out segments from your broadcast to educate patients in a very palatable and a very clear way, providing a message that we can provide as physicians, great. And if he doesn't come to the table, then I know he's full of shit. 888-659-3727. Let's see who this is. Hey, you're on the air. Who's this and where are you calling from?
Hello?
Hello.
Hello.
Hello. Hi. Hello, Joe. And hi, guys.
Hey, who's this?
And Spencer. Hi, this is Patricio.
Patricio.
From St. Louis.
Hey,
from St.
Patricio.
Louis. How are you, man? What's going on?
Hey, how you guys doing?
All right.
Everything,
Good. How are you?
Everything good. It's good to hear you guys. Well, just a quick update with my with the situation where I'm at now. I am soon to be going to a procedure with Dr. Arocha, which is going to be happening soon. I don't know exactly what day, but I think it's maybe hopefully by middle of February, something like that, where I am going to be doing around 3,000 grafts FUT with PRP.
All right, so you're having an FUT, you're having a strip procedure with PRP and 3,000 graft procedure.
Correct.
Okay.
Yes. So basically, I guess I have a question. Like, what are last minute thoughts that you guys have that you guys can give me, advise me? I am already requesting PTO from work for like an extra week, and stuff like that. But is there
my number one first thought for you is, are you 100% sure that you need surgery? And what I mean by need, is it something that no one needs to have cosmetic surgery, but is it something that you believe you don't want to live without, and that if you have a good result will really help you along in your life?
So yeah, that's a great question, and I was asked that before also. So the thing is this: I actually shaved my head around 3 months ago, which was fine. It's I luckily I have a good shape of head, which is fine. However, still, like, it's something that I know it can, when you just look at yourself and you can just see that you can look better.
All right. Well, it's interesting that you say that, and I'm going to cut you off because we're going to have to rifle through calls tonight. But it's interesting that you say that, because if you actually said that you look okay, you have a good shaped head, and that you're comfortable with it.
Well, I didn't say I am comfortable.
Oh, okay.
But I said, like, yeah.
Well, but even the fact that you're not like, oh my God, I couldn't. This is disgusting, man. I felt terrible walking around with a shaved head. You didn't seem like that was your initial reaction. Maybe I'm wrong.
No, you're right. You're right. It wasn't that bad, but I know it can be better. So that's why I am looking towards an alternative solution. I mean, not solution, but treatment.
So I want to interject in here. So just to remind everyone, Patricio has he has advanced hair loss, pushing a Norwood 6, but there was a diffused amount of hair. Like there is hair, but it's diffused. And I've met Patricio. I've given him an examination, a scalp examination, and I was encouraging Patricio to go small if he has any procedure, and not to try to knock it all out in one shot. And I'm glad that if he's having a procedure, you've decided on a smaller procedure. But I need to remind you about your characteristics and your expectations. Are they lined up? Are they lined up for a dose of reality, or are you going to be expecting something that isn't possible given your characteristics? What kind of prep were you given by your consultant and by the doctor?
So, I am aware that it will take more than a procedure to reach a goal that I don't expect to have the same hair that I used to have when I was 15. Or 16 or 17. That's not my goal. My goal is just to have hair and probably just look better, just feel better with myself when I look at myself in the mirror.
Are you prepared to be limited to a few select hairstyles that are necessary to prevent a bunch of see-through to the scalp? In other words, you do realize, and I've discussed this with you before, but I want to make sure you realize this, that when you have a procedure, especially one of this size, and I'm sure that he's putting it only in the front, correct? He's not spreading it across front to back?
Yes, the first one is going to be in the front.
Okay. So you do know that once that grows out, you're going to be doing a kind of a comb. I don't want to say a comb over because it's not a comb over, but a comb to the side to get the maximum volume and the least amount of see-through to the scalp. You do realize that, yes?
Yes.
Because you try to spike it, you try to brush it backward. That's exposing more scalp because the hair can't hide the scalp.
Yeah, no, I'm not trying to brush it backward.
Okay.
Actually,
right. you're gonna have to pull a Spence. You got to be comfortable with that. You got to part it and comb it to the side, man. Cover that shit up.
Okay, so that's something actually that I when I talked to Dr. Soroch's assistant, I was gonna go and see him and get into agreement before I go to treatment. So that's when he was gonna explain me basically before we move forward with it. He was gonna explain, hey, this is the plan, this is the strategy, this is what we're planning to do.
Are you going to be talking with Blake or Mark?
I didn't know there was a Mark. It's Blake.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, Blake. Blake's a good guy, and I trust him to tell you the truth. Yeah.
Yeah, no, he's been great. He's been super helpful with me too. But I just felt like I had to call you guys before doing it. So
is it because he wants to talk you out of it?
No.
It's a fair
I think
question.
That's too late. It's a fair question, but
it's never too late, my friend. And just so everyone knows, like, I work with Dr. Rocha. He's on my website. He's a hair transplant mentor and doctor endorsed doctor. He's an accepted member of the IAHRS. But
correct.
I'm talking to Patricio about his prospects for a great result. I think he'll have a great result if his expectations are in line with reality. In other words, yes, it's going to take multiple procedures, but even with multiple procedures, you're never going to have the appearance of a full head of hair. It's not going to happen. You're always going to look thin in some areas depending on the hairstyle you choose.
Correct. Yeah, that's good to know. At that point, whenever, like, if I do still have like thin hair in my crown where there is no hair right now,
you will have thin hair in your crown. It's not an if,
and you're also
it's a fact. You will.
You are eliminating your future ability to ever shave your head. So if you think you can get away with it now and look good, relatively good, and eventually get comfortable with a shaved head, that option is being taken off the table as soon as you go under the knife. Because once you're cut, you are cut.
Yeah. Exactly, and that's the thing. That's where I evaluate how would I feel better. You know, if the way I looked like when I took the decision of shaving my head, or what I think I would look better with having one to two procedures, and I think it'll be better for me just to take the decision on going after for 1 to 2 procedures.
All right. So, well, I mean, listen, you are you're preparing yourself. You took the time to shave your head. You're at least calling the program to ask us what our opinion is. My opinion is, listen, you have to do what you believe is going to get you to where you need to be. But, the problem is, and again, I'm sure Dr. Rocha doesn't want me to talk you out of surgery, and you already signed up. But the reality is, this program and all these guys that support the IHRS and what we do are open to the message that surgery is a last resort. And if you do find us first, there's a good chance we're going to try to talk you out of surgery. So, with that said, if you are comfortable with the possibility of things not going right, here's a good question for you. How would you feel if things didn't go well? Say you got maybe 50% of your desired density compared to shaving your head. How would you feel?
Oh man, if things go well, then I will feel great. I will feel like that's what I was looking for. And
what happens if it's only half of what you expected?
Half of what I expected, then I will still be like, okay, I think maybe, something, I don't know, I will most likely go for a second FUT.
But, okay, listen, I just want you, Patricia, I just want you to listen. Just really listen to what I'm saying. If you go for two procedures, and after two procedures,
after two procedures,
you do not believe that you got the result that you should have gotten, how would you feel with that end result compared to how you felt with a shaved head? Do you think you would be happier even if the result wasn't necessarily 100%?
It's hard to confirm something that I'm not able to see how bad it is.
And that's exactly what I wanted you to say, because right now you're able to confirm how you look with a shaved head.
Yeah, correct.
And if you can't stand it, then I understand why you're going for surgery. But if you can kind of take it and get used to it, then I would say give it some more time.
Yeah. What I've thought compared to other patients, it's like I've been on finasteride for, I think, 2 to 3 years. 2 years. I've done my research. I've been to 4 to 5 different consultations with different doctors, and I've talked to Joe many times. He's been extremely helpful. I listen to you guys very often on Tuesdays, so I think like I've percentage of failure very, very small, where like I feel confident that okay, I compare myself to other patients, and I think that this is a right decision, to take, and just move forward with it.
Well, look,
by the way,
you've done your research and you understand what the entire scope and the possible pitfalls are, and look, you may come away with this incredible result that's going to be so life-changing that you're going to call the show in a year and say it was the best thing you've ever done. That's what I'm hoping for you.
Yeah.
I just want you to be completely prepared for failure, because that does happen.
Correct. Yeah. And I have just a question. Do you guys, like, why, when I was checking, and I've been always checking on Dr. Arocha's videos on YouTube and on his website, why there isn't any recent patient that has had why there isn't a recent procedure, a recent video of a procedure? Because like I see videos from, I think the most recent one probably is like 6-8 months.
I'll tell you why there's no recent videos. There's no recent videos because they don't have a dedicated media person. I've been working with them to try and figure out a way to get more of their results documented with video. But they're very busy, and the doctor. This is what I don't like about hair transplant doctors. All of them. Yes, you too. Yes, and you too. They all think that they have to have their fingers and their input in everything that goes on in their clinic. And there's actually a couple that I can say don't do that, but almost all of them have to be involved in every aspect of what's going on in their office. And the downside of that is it means that things like video are difficult to get done because like doctors will come in and they'll interrupt the session and it takes more time, and then before you know it, there's no time to shoot the video. They got to get back into the next surgery, or the patient have to get into the surgery that they're scheduled for if they're there for a second procedure, or they have to leave because not everyone can sit around and bullshit all day. So, with respect to Dr. Arocha's office, he's very busy and like they're all over the place, and they don't have one person that's dedicated to really stepping up and taking care of the media, the photos, the video, the archiving, the organization, and the editing. And so, they're lucky they can get the photos out when they can, and take photos. So it's also a mindset. It's remembering to switch to video from on the camera, to switch from photos to video, because you can do it with your DSLR camera now, and they have a good one. It's just sometimes it's a matter of remembering to make that switch. So that's the only reason. It's just they're busy. So that's it.
Okay. No. Perfect. Yeah, that's the answer that I was looking for. I am actually bringing my GoPro and my personal cell phone it has a great camera, and I'm actually willing to just record the entire procedure.
Good.
Good.
That's awesome. Actually, that's really smart too.
Yeah. Let them know.
Let them know in advance. Actually, so it's not a surprise.
Yeah.
Oh no. I already told Blake about it, and last thing is the technicians that work with Dr. Rocha, they've been for a longer time, right? They've been years with him.
Yeah. Right? There's a newer one that came on board a couple of years ago, but he's actually a licensed surgical tech in the state of Texas, which is more than what most techs are in the industry.
Okay.
Texas has some sort of licensing, or I don't know the details of it, but he's legit, and apparently he's like a great addition to the team. So thumbs up on that. So yeah, I mean, great that you're documenting. I'm glad that you're doing that. More patients should do that for a number of reasons. Look, I've done my best to talk you out of this. You shaved your head. You've tried everything, and you've decided, well, you know what? Yeah, not so bad, but it's not for me. I want to try this. All we can do is say, hey, we tried.
And also that you're informed.
Yeah.
You're going into this informed, and that means a lot. So at the very least, if something doesn't go 100%, you're not going to be completely surprised. Listen, the hope is everything goes as planned, and that you walk away from this with a tremendous experience, a great looking out of hair, and just feel much better with yourself. And that's a real possibility. Look, there's more of a possibility that that's going to happen than a failure. But you need to be prepared, just in case.
Yeah. I mean, there's a reason Dr. Rocha is an accepted member of the IAHRS. There's a reason Dr. Rocha is endorsed as a hair transplant mentor clinic. I mean, he's damn good at what he does, right? But every clinic, everyone I've worked with, everyone that is, IAHRS or, insert organization here, every member, if they have, enough time on tissue to even be considered to be good, they've all had a fuck up. All of them. If any one of them tells you wrong or that they haven't, they're lying to you. So Dr. Roach will tell you that, I've had unhappy patients. Everyone else out there will too if they know what's good for them. They're all on that.
Well, listen, man, we have time to take another phone call or two, so I'm going to let you go.
Oh, no. Yeah, I know you guys are just for an hour or so, but I just really wanted to make sure I got in touch with you guys, and always very grateful to have you guys on the air, and just very helpful for you guys' information. I think it's the best quality that is out there for this industry.
Well, thank you so much. I wish you the best of luck, and just let us know how things go, okay?
And I will. And I will.
All right.
Thank you, guys.
Good luck,
All right.
man.
Thank you.
Good hearing from you. Take care.
Thank you, guys.
888-659-3727. Good luck with your hair transplant, Patricio. I'm not telling him not to get it. I just want him to be completely prepared. So I wanted to ask him all the right questions, and he seems like he's ready. So we wish him the best of luck. Hey, you're on the air. Who's this, and where are you calling from?
Hi, my name is John. I'm calling from New York.
Hey, John. What's happening?
Hello, John.
Hi. It's been a long time. I used to listen to you on WNEW and used to have Dave in the basement.
Holy shit. That's a long time ago, man. Old school. What's happening?
Yeah. Quick question. Because of your show, I bought your book and everything back then, and I started with Propecia. It wasn't doing well. I switched over to Avodart. I think I've stayed between a Norwood 2 and a Norwood 3. I have a receding hairline, so I've been able to maintain. But now that there is a generic Avodart out or dutasteroid, I was wondering if you heard if there was any problems going to generic because the brand name is very expensive.
Well, here's the thing. You've been listening to me for a long time. I mean, NEW. Yes. I mean, the last time I was on NEW was like 15 years ago or something like that.
Yes.
Yeah. So, I am a believer. If something is working for you, do not fuck with it. Now, it doesn't mean there's any problems with the generics, but there is a great deal of anecdotal evidence that both myself and Joe have received over the years from guys who've made the switch, whether it's Propecia or dutasteroid, and they're like, or Avodart, and they've either been switched to generic automatically by their pharmacy, or they chose to do it for the savings, and they ended up losing hair. Now, not everyone. For some people, it doesn't make a difference, but you just never know. So my thing is, if you've been holding on to your hair for this long, using brand name, don't screw with it, man. I mean, you've been able to afford it for these many years, right?
Yeah. I mean, and then I started going to Europe where I could get it for cheaper. So I was just,
There, to me, unless they stop producing it, there's no reasonable reason to take that chance just to save a couple of bucks.
Okay.
That's why I look at it. I mean, if it works, then why switch? Because we've talked about the inconsistencies that you can run into with some generics. We don't know which generics. We just know that it happens. So why risk it? If you're that concerned about your hair loss, then why risk it? I'm not a fan of changing things out. It's like if it's not broken, don't fix it.
Okay, I appreciate it. It's just that the price keeps going up for the brand name, but but I'll deal with it instead of losing my hair. So
well, you'd be a lot more upset if you decide to switch and then you start to deal with the shed than spending a couple of extra bucks a month. So stick with what works, dude.
Okay.
All right.
Thank you.
All right. Listen, great hearing from you. Take care.
Thanks.
Okay. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
888-659-3727. Jesus, WNEW. That's a long time ago, man. Hey, you're on the air. Who's this and where are you calling from?
Hey, guys. This is John from Florida. How you guys doing?
Hey, what's happening, man?
What's up?
Hey, guys. How are you guys?
We are not bad, man. We are not bad. How are you? That's the question.
I'm doing good.
Yeah.
So I have a question for you guys. Like I usually, I usually talk a lot of surgery, but I had a question about finasteride.
All right.
I know I watched. I think it was last Tuesday that you guys had a doctor that you guys had. I don't know who was the doctor, but
Dr. Ken Anderson.
Yeah, him.
Mm-hmm.
And you guys are going in depth on I guess how finasteride works and stuff, but he was saying that there was some patients that he had that I guess after taking the drug for years and years that I guess they couldn't get it up anymore or whatever.
Yeah.
And I just kind of wanted to ask what do you guys think about that? What do you guys do you guys know people that have taken the drug for I guess 15 plus more years and haven't had any type of issues and stuff? Or
well, I've been on the drug for well over 2 decades. So for me personally, it hasn't been an issue. But
2 decades?
I've been on the drug since 1995, I think.
Wow.
You know, so yeah, 24 years, a long time.
24. God.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Jesus.
So I can say this, that look, what Dr. Anderson says, you know, theoretically can make some sense. There is no proof of any of it, and frankly, you know, there's no data showing any causal effect for any long-term adverse side effects. You're also talking about guys in their 40s and 50s and maybe 60s. I forgot how old the patients were. I'm pretty sure he said 50s, who may have been on a drug for a long time. Most guys my age, they're not taking great care of themselves. About 50% of men over the age of 40 suffer from some degree of ED without the use of finasteride. So, you know, you just don't know. I would say that there was probably, if I was a betting person, if I would take odds on this, the odds of that demographic suffering from adverse, or I should say, sexual side effects, or ED, in that age group, would probably be representative of the average across the board in the world. So
the numbers basically are supposedly for every decade of life, the probability of having erectile dysfunction naturally, just due to external, whatever external factors, internal factors, whatever, goes up 10%. So in your 40s, 40% chance of having ED, 50s, 50%, 60s, 60%, so on and so forth. My personal opinion is that if someone's been taking it for 15 years and then suddenly this issue happens, it ain't the finasteride.
And we're both not physicians. And I know that Dr. Anderson has his opinion, and he's someone that I respect a lot. But, that's why I said last week, we're talking about the practice of medicine. Everyone practices medicine differently to some degree, and they read literature differently. There are actually larger studies than the studies that he stated for the 5-year efficacy and side effect studies, but it doesn't make a difference. Anecdotally, or at least from a personal peer standpoint, I've known guys who've been on the drug for close to 2 decades, or I know one guy that's been on it for as long as I have been, who's taking 5 milligrams a day. He's my age exactly, actually 6 months younger than me, and the guy talks to me like he's got he's walking around with like a plank in his pants. So, and there's no one in my personal life who's my age that uses the drug that has any adverse side effects, and that's in my personal life. Professionally, and I'm talking about through all of the thousands of people that have called this program and who have written in to one of our resources, a handful of guys, and they're still not even sure. And a lot of this action, say it was less than 10 guys, they read about this shit online, and then they kind of felt they were getting these adverse side effects. So I'm not saying it's impossible. I'm not saying Dr. Anderson is wrong theoretically, but we just don't know. That's the reality. We don't know.
Yep.
No, yeah. There's probably a lot of people that fear monger, and they probably, that they think they're having side effects, but they're really not. But the point he brought up was just a bit it kind of raised questions in my head. I was like, because I've been taking it for almost a year now, and I haven't had any side effects at all. If anything, I think it's increased my, my sex drive. But he was saying something about it just once you take it for 15, 20 years, maybe your brain or whatever, it triggers something.
No one knows. I don't know. I could wake up tomorrow. I could be dead as a doornail downstairs. I have no fucking clue. I really don't. But today, all is well.
It could wind up being a piece of bait.
Yeah. But today, all is well. Everything's great. I feel great. I feel strong. I'm fucking is not a problem at this point.
So worst case scenario, if someone were to have, I guess, some type of issue where you don't want to get up anymore and stuff, what do those people do? Do they that's it? They're done, or do they take some type of
pick up reading maybe, or Yeah.
a nice knitting class on
Yeah.
Thursdays.
You know, maybe volunteer.
Pretty much.
You know.
No, it's pretty simple. The guys that have the issues with the blue pill take the other blue pill, and a lot of times that fixes the issue.
Yeah, but like Dr. Anderson was saying, you know, it doesn't fix your libido, but if you have a libido, it could possibly help with erectile dysfunction. But look, man, you know, I appreciated the call and I appreciated his opinion, but I also knew that there would be a lot of guys who were alarmed by that phone call.
I got a couple emails about that phone call, actually. Yeah.
And
it was.
And we have no skin in the game. That's it. We don't, you know, we have no connection with Merck. I don't care if you guys take Propecia or not, except I think that a lot of guys are doing themselves a disservice not using the drug because of the fear of using it. But that's just my opinion, and I'm not a physician. All I can tell you is base my advice on my experience and from those who have contacted me over all these years. In my personal experience, being a user for 24 years, there are no side effects that I'm aware of. I don't know. I mean, am I a little, you know, people talk about being a little tired in the afternoon or whatever, or they have brain fog. What was I saying? I'm just kidding. And
where am I?
Where am I? No. And you know, and other issues. Who knows? You know, I don't know. I could be affected in some way. I didn't sense any difference over the years. I didn't sense any difference when I first started taking it. But I'm also getting older. Things are starting to change. I'm not going to blame finasteride for that change. Oh yeah, I noticed that I have a little bit more of a blue vein on my calf. I noticed that the other day. Is it because of the fucking finasteride or because I'm going to be 54 years old?
He's blaming varicose veins on finasteride.
Yeah, not varicose. It's kind of like a spider vein, which slightly bugs me, I have to admit. But, you know, I think that's more age-related. So who knows?
No, yeah,
I would not worry about it. You're doing well with it right now. You're already ingesting it. And you're already having some success with it without any side effects. You know, just.
But do you guys think, because he did mention, I don't want to carry it on too much, but he did mention that he, he did mention that the guys that he did see that had the problem, he said that they stopped taking it for a year. So do you guys think that once you're in it for you've been taking it for that amount of time, do you think that that's why it happened, because they just went cold turkey and just stopped it, or do you think that maybe that has something to do with it?
We don't know. We don't know. It's very possible, and it could be all psychosomatic. There's no way for him to test. Now there are home tests. There's the basic stamp roll test. You can see if you actually have a nocturnal erection. You could actually have a sleep study test, and they can see if you're getting an erection in your sleep in a facility. Or they also have these devices now, which are a little more sophisticated, that could actually give you an idea about the blood flow to your penis at night and if it's getting an erection. So, frankly, if I was a physician, that's the first thing that I would suggest to any of these patients. Not just, hey, you know what? It's probably the Propecia, and then send them home. I'd probably say, let's make sure that this isn't psychosomatic, and let's put you through a battery of tests just to ensure that you're not just overthinking this. And then take it from there. And then you still don't know because these guys are getting old. Look, I don't mind saying, I think it's a privilege to get old and still be vital and to age. I don't look at it as a negative. Yeah, I mean, I'm sure once I'm in my 60s and 70s and I'm really starting to look fucked up, I'm not going to be happy about it. But right now I see it as it's a privilege, But people's bodies change. I'm not the same. I'm definitely not the same. The fact that I'm so proud that I could still bench 225 pounds, it's ridiculous that I got to talk about that. It's all ego.
Again.
No, but honestly, we change as we age, and that's it. And I mean, any physician will tell you that. And there's no way they can base it. He was just talking about hypotheticals. In his mind, in his reasoning, he's like, well, I guess it is possible for these things to occur. We still don't know much about the changes in the brain from being on a drug that blocks an enzyme that affects your hormones for so many years. There's never been any studies. Same could be said about birth control. Same could be said about the long-term use of aspirin.
No, yeah, that makes sense. That's just like a new drug, like, you know, compared to other drugs. It's just
it's been on the market for 25, 26 years, 27 years.
Have you read the side effects of aspirin?
I mean, I'm pretty sure it has, right? Like,
oh my God, yeah. It's like I did a video about this. I think it was hair transplant class number 5, I think, where I'm talking about finasteride, and I start off. I'm reading the side effects on the side of a bottle. I'm not talking about what it is, and at the very end, when I'm doing the side effects, I say, "And this is aspirin."
Right. Anaphylactic shock. Death.
Yeah, and I mean, you can die from like aspirin is so dangerous. Like when you think about what it's doing and you read the side effects, it's like holy shit. And you buy this and you go to 7-Eleven and buy this stuff off the counter. And it's funny. I remember reading a long time ago that if aspirin were released today, it would be a controlled substance.
Yeah, it would actually probably be black boxed.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, wow. It's rough. It's rough, but they've got a baby version for it.
Yeah. And I have to say that it's probably one of the most amazing drugs that was ever invented.
Yeah.
You know.
Oh yeah.
So look, man. You know, you don't know. What's the point of worrying now? You're already on the fucking drug.
I'm already on this boat.
You may get hit by a bus tomorrow. You could be standing at a bus stop with a hard on, get hit by a bus.
You know what the side effects of driving a car are? Death.
Yeah, like I literally outweighed the side effects between the you know, like what could happen. I was like, my hair is more important than like if anything, like, you know, I'll take testosterone or some shit, but like you know, like I didn't want to lose my hair, so you know, like I just started taking the drug. But the last question I had for you guys, like, what do you guys think like DHT plays though? Like DHT like in the body, like what do you like what does it do? Like,
well, it helps a male fetus to develop in the womb. It also helps. Well, I mean, it's the catalyst for puberty, for you know your junk dropping, your voice changing. You know, it's turning into a man. It's important for that. There was. I remember years ago there was. I've not looked into this because I don't really read about this, but with type 1 enzyme that's being blocked by Avodart, right. There was a connection with brain function, and that I don't think there is with type 2, which is what finasteride blocks. But yeah, I mean it's sorry, I lost my thought.
The concern with type 1 is that the drug passes the blood-brain barrier.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. It actually passes that barrier, and but look, besides that, where's my thought with that?
I have no idea, but we're not going to say that this can't fuck you up at some time down the road. We don't know. I don't know. I've been on it for 25 years almost, and that is not an endorsement of the drug. I mean, my personal experience has been wonderful so far, but I could be suffering from side effects that I'm unaware of.
FSK in the chat room says a bus could hit your heart on at the bus stop.
But you know, the thing is, what I've learned is, you know, everyone, the internet is full of people who catastrophize everything, and people are so used to. I mean, that's how they function. You know, you're asking all of the questions out of, you know, I could sense the fear. You already popped the drug. You already made that step. You're already doing well with it.
Like I'm not.
And you're letting someone else, a stranger, even though he's a well-respected guy, he's great at moving hair. That's what he does, and other things. He's a facial plastic guy as well. But
no, that's the only reason I brought it up.
Yeah, but you're letting a pure speculation and a pure opinion scare the fuck out of you. Can't do it. You've already done your research. You've taken the drug, and you're doing okay with it. You have to think to yourself, well, if I get off of it, will I be happy? If you are, then at least you know that you're off the drug. You're 100% safe, that this drug can never affect you adversely for the rest of your life. But as long as you stay on that drug, there's always a possibility something's going to happen to you. You just got to deal with it.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm willing to take the risk, like at that point, because like since I'm already on it and I haven't experienced anything, then there's no reason, I guess, to But I just wanted to bring it up because I thought it was kind of interesting, like his point of view on it, and just like to see what you guys thought about it, but that was pretty much it.
All right, man. Well, listen, we wish you the best of luck. We're calling it a night early tonight, so we got to go. But look, I'm not going to say don't worry about it. I'm just going to say there's no point in worrying about it now. You've been on the drug for a while, and you have two choices. Stop the drug. You never have to worry about it again. Continue the drug because you want to keep your hair, and then do your best not to worry about it.
Yeah. I mean, I have to be on the drug because I already have a procedure. So, all right,
well, then that's it. So what's the point of worrying about it? You made the decision already.
Yeah, I kind of have to be on the drug. But no, thank you very much for your time, and I hope you guys have a good night.
All right, man. Listen, take care. Good luck.
All right, guys. Have a good one.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Got to give that Dr. Anderson a call. I'm just kidding. No, I mean, listen, I understand his points, and he made some good points last week. And
yeah, he did.
Everyone has their own opinion. And yes, he's a physician. He went to medical school. He understands a lot about this stuff. There are physicians who are in his camp, and there are physicians that really aren't concerned about long-term adverse side effects from this drug.
They think that the data that's out there is good enough to
who do you believe?
To not have to worry about that kind of thing. And I mean, look, I can't fault Dr. Anderson's position in the least because it is the safer of the two options by far. It's like, do you get in the car and drive dangerously, or just don't get in the car at all? Well, obviously,
it's funny.
You don't get in the car at all.
The Dublin, Ireland asked earlier if I read these messages. Yes, I do, by the way. I read the messages every once in a while.
Boom.
But listen, guys, we got to go. Thank you so much for tuning in, including you, D, Dublin, Ireland. I'm just busting your balls. You could write whatever you want, dude. If you think I'm negative, whatever, I get it. I can be. I'm just being real, man. That's what the show is about. I'm just being real. Joe, give out the websites.
The new and improved hairlossexperiences.com. I actually wanted to mention this earlier, but we got distracted because that's what we do.
Yeah.
Hairlossexperiences.com, primarily a UK-based forum, but yep, it's the interwebs and everyone can join in and play. The great thing is that Hair Loss Experiences has completed their upgrade to the forum. It looks awesome. It's so much easier to embed the program. It used to be just a massive pain in the ass, but I did it. But now it's easier. So well done to our friends at Hair Loss Experiences, and thank you again for embedding and sharing this broadcast and supporting our message. After that, we've got bellycapelli.forumfree.it. Sounds funny because it's Italian. It always sounds funny. Great guys, or great guy, that has always been a big supporter of our message. He is a repair patient. Both forum operators are repair patients. Have been through the mill, and both have been repaired with success. So they get it. That's why both forums are great. bellycapelli.forumfree.it. It's automatically translated into the language of your choice. Finally, international-hairlossforum.com. It's the Frenchy side of things. Again, it's translated based on your browser. Lots of great information, lots of patient interaction, clinics sharing results. It's a great place to be. Also embeds and shares this program. So thank you to all three.
You know, I'm thinking I should get Bald Truth Talk translated, but only into one other language.
Swahili?
German.
Anyway,
our website, The Bald Truth, thebaldtruth.com. Check out archives of this broadcast. Sorry, guys. Some of you guys know what I'm talking about. Archives of this broadcast on thebaldtruth.com. Subscribe to the show through thebaldtruth.com. And also subscribe to us on iTunes. Joe's personal YouTube page, that is youtube.com/hairtransplantmentor. Don't forget to like subscribe to it, ring that bell. And if you're watching the show, guys, there's like 5 likes to Joe's show. Just like the fucking thing. Big deal. Click the like button. It's not so hard. You guys are chatting it up in the chat room. What?
So at least like the fact that you can chat live and interact with each other. Forget us.
Jesus.
There we go. There's one. Okay. Okay. There's a few more. All right. Thank you.
The American Hair Loss Association, that's AmericanHairLoss.org. International Alliance of Hair Restoration Surgeons, which, by the way, we are evolving greatly this year. Tried to explain that to an old school ISHRS member. It was like talking to a fucking wall. That's all I'm going to tell you. But we are growing exponentially. And what does that mean? That means we're going to be able to provide a much larger percentage of the hair loss community with really good information, with hope and a fighting fucking chance before they make the mistakes that so many are going to make and have been making the last couple of years. The problem now that we face is, we have 200,000 men waking up every day, or hair loss sufferers waking up every day for the first time realizing that they're losing their hair. It's a whole new group of people. So no matter how much we work with the resources we have, they're not finding us right away. And usually, sadly, especially when it comes to men, they don't do much research. And then they get fucked up, and then they start to research, and then what do you know? They call the show, or they find the American Hair Loss Association, or they find Hair Transplant Mentor, which is hairtransplantmentor.com, by the way.
Thank you very much.
Which is Joe Tillman's personal website. We are changing that this year. And, my hope was to work with enough physicians who would be willing to utilize their own personal platforms to really get the right content out to the consumer. The one person I spoke with today doesn't seem to fully comprehend it, but a lot of others do. So it's going to be an exciting year for everyone. So the baldtruthtalk.com is our message forum, which we probably should start to translate into German, because I know there's a lot of Germans who listen to the show.
They'll listen to the show, they call into the show,
right.
and based on conversations we've had, they read Bald Truth Talk.
Right, and then we already have a great, very popular Italian site, so we don't need to do that, and some other sites. French, right? There's a French one?
Yeah, French, yeah.
So anyway, we're going to go. Guys, I'm sorry, guys, we're holding on. We can't take your call. We've got to go. Until next time, be strong, God bless, and thank you guys so much for listening. We'll see you Friday, I think, right?
Yes, absolutely. Full show.
All right, guys. Take care.
See ya.
Bud Light presents Real American Heroes.
Real American heroes.
Today we salute you, Mr. Really Bad Toupee Wearer.
Mr.